I have said that the AFC West is must-see TV, so guess what most all of us will be on Thursday night is watching the Chargers and the Chiefs. It's part one of the week 2 preview here on the Audible, presented by our friends at Sleeper. And Bloom, I look at this and I go, man, I wish everybody was healthy. I wish Keenan Allen was going to be out there. I think that's the largest story here because you want to see top tier team versus top tier team. This is a very important game in the conference, let alone the division. And the Chargers won't have Keenan Allen. So what do they do to respond to that? And how do fantasy GMs respond to that?
Yeah, I don't know that this game is going to be very exciting to have fantasy players in. We'll see. We'll see. Before I get into this game, I do want to set the tone for week 2 again. Remember, this is our second data point. Okay. So we're recontextualizing everything that we saw in week 1. Everything we see this week is going to change, or maybe just reinforce, but make stronger what we saw last week or what we took away from what we saw last week. So as we step through, I'll try to give you at least some of what I'm thinking about for recontextualizing. Bottom line in this one, Cease, they're both teams are facing better defenses, much better. What's funny is their opponents are facing each other too, Arizona and Las Vegas. We'll get to that in part 2. So you look at the Chargers this week, and certainly you wonder how much is it going to affect Justin Herbert against a tougher defense without Keenan Allen, because Keenan Allen's the most reliable target here. Now, you could say this is going to be good for Mike Williams, who was really not heard from last week. I think if Mike Williams has another down week this week, are you going to start him in week 3? I don't know. Austin Eckler, I know you're going to start him in week 3, but you're a little worried. You shouldn't be. Austin Eckler is still a very good player in a good offense, and he's going to be fine. But this is a better Kansas City defense. This is a better Kansas City defense. Now, they don't have the Honey Badger, but I think this is a defense. They got tons of pressure against Kyler Murray. I mean, they made Arizona look like a bad offense, and maybe Arizona is a bad offense. Again, part two. Save it for part 2. But I think that it's going to be tough going. You will see Josh Palmer get a larger workload. He's not the sleeper of the week, though, again, because this is a tougher Kansas City defense. They did lose Trent McDuffie. So this is one thing to watch. Jalen Watson, I think is his name. The 7th round pick is going to be out there. So we'll see if Justin Herbert can locate him and see, okay, 7th round rookie, you're on the field. Can you handle what the Chargers are serving up? So maybe if Josh Palmer gets those matchups, or maybe if they get Mike Williams matched up against them, then that could be something that tilts this game. Let's watch that. But remember, that, again, this Chiefs defense, they've got a great set of linebackers, young, aggressive linebackers. They're getting a ton of pressure. This is a good defense. Maybe we'll watch Gerald Everett. Again, no Donald Parham. He's already been ruled out. So Gerald Everett is a streaming tight end option. But I think that you're lowering expectations. And really, if you only put up 24 points against Las Vegas, well, I mean, we want this to be an elite offense. Without Keenan Allen against Kansas City, it won't be, but will even be a good offense. I have a feeling even against the Chargers, Kansas City will be a good offense.
Kansas City, that's what they do. And I love seeing an inspired Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, finally, it's clicking for him. I think it's clicking because of Isaiah Pacheco. And yes, I understand Isaiah Pacheco did everything against garbage. It doesn't matter. Is the game too big for him or not? That's what you're watching. Look at how many other rookies that we watched last week in week 1, Bloom, that were like head spinning. Okay. With Isaiah Pacheco as a what the heck flex. Should he be my sleeper of the week, Bloom? Actually, should I just do that right now? Because, like, seriously, I love Isaiah Pacheco. And it's definitely kind of pushed Clyde Edwards-Helaire to be even sharper, to be even better, to play up to that first round potential. And the Chiefs are like a kid in the candy store. What Juju's going to play, right? A little bit banged up. Even Mahomes has a little bit of a wrist thing, but it's Thursday night. They're going to be out there. They're going to be explosivo. And Bloom, well, I guess we have to pick which one we want from Kansas City. If it's going to be one every different week, there's going to be one.
Right.
Who's that one going to be?
Yeah. Can I just say this? And I know this, Cease, I know you might not like this, but maybe you will. We should be talking about this Kansas City team as a dynasty. Yeah.
The dynasty of one right now. I mean, they got to get more than one.
They got to get more than one, but they went to the Super Bowl and lost because their offensive line was a mess. And they should have beat us. I love the Bengals. I love the Bengals fans. I want to see Cincinnati get there. They should have beat Cincinnati last year. I mean, it was a mental lapse. I mean, they lost to Cincinnati because they just started picturing themselves in the Super Bowl again. They should be going in. They should have gone to 3 straight Super Bowls. And is this team getting better? Cease, is this maybe the best version yet?
Yes, because now they'll have more balance. I wrote about it on Newswire. And actually, I think I wrote about it. Sorry, I'm writing all the time. I wrote about it around the AFC West. Like, hey, you finally have balance with this team.
Yeah.
So if they get more than one, yes. And I think we need to redefine dynasty in modern NFL. You're never going to do what the Patriots did. Nobody's going to do that. But if you get
or the Steelers, or the 49ers, or the Cowboys
within the span, right, of let's say 10 years. So yes, that means the Giants had a little bit of a dynasty run. They're the only team to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Yes, it means the Ben Roethlisberger Steelers were a little mini dynasty. Like just in today's NFL, these, long-lasting team of the decade, I'm not sure if those exist. So you can put a run together like Kansas City, you get another ring, hell yeah, you're a dynasty.
Yeah, and the main thing is, if we're saying they're a near dynasty, a lowercase d dynasty for the last 3 years, they're getting better. And like you said, Cease, I think it's because this offense continues to evolve. Now, we're going to see Arizona's defense is bad. Okay, so how good did they make Kansas City's defense look? It's a tougher defense, the Chargers defense. However, I think you're going to see this offense is still going to be humming. We'll watch that split. We'll watch Pacheco. We'll watch McKinnon. But Edwards-Helaire is very safe and a good play. Juju is safe and a good play. If this game was close last week for more than a half, Juju probably would have been great. I think that Juju, the knee concerns and so on, at least when it's against a team like Arizona, no problem. We'll see. But like you said, Cease, is there going to be someone else this week? Is it Valdez-Scantling? Is it Justin Watson? McCole Hardman had a touchdown last week. Sky Moore is still around. So we're going to see how they use those guys. But the one guy we know, I liked this stat. I put it out there on my Twitter. Cease, last week, Travis Kelce outscored the number 2, 3, 4, and 5 drafted fantasy tight ends. Now, granted, George Kittle didn't play, but that counts, right? I mean, the point is, you could have had the next 4 tight ends on the board on your team, and together in week 1, they would not have equaled what Travis Kelce did. So, yeah, Travis Kelce could be one of those unfair advantages this year. And we'll see. I have a feeling, Cease, even though every year we want it to be the Chargers getting over the hump. Every year we want it to be exercise the demons, right? The memory of this franchise. I think we're going to come out of this game feeling like, yeah, the Chiefs are still the favorites in the AFC and the clear favorites.
Yeah, it's a collision course between them and Buffalo. Got to feel like my man D. Hume here. Is it Hume or Humey? Hume. 0-1, but it's week 2, baby. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We're going to be all right.
We're going to be all right.
I like that. I like that. It is the Audible Part 1 of the Week 2 preview. Jets and Cleveland, we got some stinkers in this one, Bloom. So we can talk about Dynasty with the Chiefs, because next we have to talk about the Jets and the Browns. Honestly, do I have to toss either one team to you? Like,
I know.
Your fantasy, these are not the fantasy assets you're looking for.
See, instead of this game, can we talk about the Kiss album Dynasty? That was pretty good, right? I mean, they got a little.
Wasn't there their disco album?
It was the disco album, right? I was made for loving. I can't do it. Anyway, yeah, this is rough. But you do have a 1-0 Cleveland team here, and Joe Flacco, and so Joe Flacco put up some numbers last week. That's great. King of garbage time. We got to give him the garbage can lid crown, Oscar the Grouch. So maybe he can fuel this passing game, but to who? Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, Garrett Wilson, even Tyler Conklin. Now, granted, because of how much garbage time they had last week, it worked out okay if you played Corey Davis, and that's about it, really, from the wide receivers. Tyler Conklin got the touchdown. So are you trusting? Are you truly trusting Elijah Moore? Are you truly trusting? And well, Corey Davis wasn't in our circle of trust anyway, but he looks like he's going to be a consistent play here. No. And yes, Michael Carter is a better fantasy running back than Breece Hall. So Adam Harstad, we love Adam Harstad. However, Adam's oft-cited stat that ADP is as good, well, oft-cited by me at least, that ADP is as good a predictor in week 1, 2, 3, 4 of production as what they've done already in year to date. Some of the times you shouldn't apply it. right? Michael Carter is a better fantasy play than Breece Hall, even though the ADP was off by 8 rounds. It should have been closer to like Hall as a 6th, 7th round pick and Carter as a 7th, 8th round pick by the time drafts got here.
Well,
And
it's
the left,
hype,
yeah,
FOMO, Bloom, and people. That's one of the big problems with the fantasy community is like, really, really, really want Breece Hall to be good. Michael Carter's not going away.
yeah,
Like Michael Carter's really good.
yeah. That's the thing. Like he's not going to be evicted from this backfield, and Breece Hall would have to be, he'd have to play. Well, like honestly, like very few rookie running backs ever hit that level. So Carter's still the better play than Hall. Hall's a what the heck flex, but this is still a poor offense. And by the way, Myles Garrett gets to pick on, well, Max Mitchell or George Fant. So that's bad. That's bad for Joe Flacco. That's not something Joe Flacco is going to be looking forward to. We didn't talk about, by the way, that Myles Garrett got to get up and close and personal with Baker Mayfield a few times last week. So yeah, that's more interesting than this game.
Yeah, for sure. Brown side of things, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and littering. And did you shut down David Njoku yesterday? I can't remember.
Oh,
Or did you say hold on?
Tight
Might have
ends,
been
like,
hold
they're
on.
all hold ons and they're all shut them down at tight end. Both, yes.
At the same
drop him and then
time.
pick him back up.
Yes. Two things can be true at the same time. And well, there's one thing true. You're not starting many Browns this week, Bloom.
No. Donovan Peoples-Jones, the number one receiver. I mean, not going back to, and look, the Jets defense was better than people are expecting. I mean, when you think of the Jets defense, you don't think of good defense, but they were holding the Ravens down for a while, and they certainly held down the Ravens running game. So that sets up an interesting matchup here where the Browns rational coaching, I'll give Stefanski credit for this. Rational coaching, this offense should run through the backfield. And you're going to play Nick Chubb. He never should have been going in the 3rd round. I think we can see that.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, you need those longer drives. He was outstanding at finishing drives like he was last year in week 1. That made him a good play. I still think Hunt, it's rough out there in those running back streets. So you're probably playing Hunt as a running back too, or at least interested in him as a flex. But this Jets defense, I think, is better than we expect. So, like you said, Cease, we're playing Nick Chubb, maybe playing Kareem Hunt. Otherwise, the Browns trying to go 0-2. I mean, 0-2, trying to go 2-0. So that's the other thing here is, hey, 2-0. It doesn't matter how you get there, even if it's the Panthers and the Jets. We'll take it if you're a Browns fan.
Yeah, we'll take it. And Bloom, I always have to fight the urge to rap wherever I'm at.
Really?
Right? Yeah. You just get a nice because
Why?
I'm thinking of Curtis Samuel, and I'm like, encore. Do you want more? What are we gonna see from Curtis Samuel as we go Commanders versus Lions in this one? And Washington side, can it truly be like Jahan Dotson and Curtis Samuel,
right,
and Terry McLaurin? Can we truly get that from this team against the Lions? And yes, that means trusting Carson Wentz. I'm feeling uncomfortable now. More uncomfortable than you'd felt listening to me rap.
I don't know. I think it could be good.
I did the fastest rhyme one time on air. And because I can still do the fastest rhyme. That's from Young MC, backwards is MC Young. So
yeah, that's coming back when you used to do that drive from Cheyenne on your motorcycle. Like that's the speed. Cecil's got the need for speed. It's funny. I think Curtis Blow, basketball is my favorite sport.
I like the way they dribble up and down the court.
Yes. What a game. Again, I just want to mention this again because I love Detroit. I love the people of Detroit, and my heart goes out to the Lions fans. When I see Washington versus Detroit, it makes me think of Barry Sanders, the closest he got to a Super Bowl. Can Wentz keep it up against this Detroit defense? Yes. In fact, if Wentz doesn't keep it up against this Detroit defense, maybe we should think it was just a week 1 beginner's luck kind of moment for him.
Right.
So Wentz is a startable fantasy quarterback this week because of the matchup. Gibson should keep it up. Again, all these narratives from week 1, Gibson back in our circle of trust. Well, if he doesn't do it against the Lions, then he should be out of our circle of trust. We'll probably see less J.D. McKissic. Yes, you pick up Curtis Samuel, put him right in the lineup. He obviously has a dedicated role in this game. Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin. Now, note, we're mentioning Terry McLaurin. No, Terry McLaurin's not the headliner in this offense. And that's a good thing for Washington. Maybe not a good thing if you took Terry McLaurin. But he doesn't have to be the headliner. Still, McLaurin, Dotson, and look, I'm starting McLaurin well ahead of Dotson. But the point is, they're both more like wide receiver 3 flex plays, but ones you want to try to get in because of the matchup. Maybe McLaurin's a wide receiver 2 on reputation, but I think Samuel's probably the best play here because he's the most dedicated target share guy, and he should be. He was so spry See, I think with Curtis Samuel, he looked like he was a rising star, and he got rising star money from Washington, and then he just hasn't been healthy. But he's not just picking up where he's left off. He's actually, if you look at his suddenness in the open, if you look at Kadarius Toney, well, I mean, what we want Kadarius Toney to be if he gets out of Brian Dable's doghouse, right? I mean, he looked like a player that when the ball's in his hands, he's going to make things happen. And I don't think that's lost on Carson Wentz or Washington. Even Logan Thomas as a tight end streamer coming back from that gnarly ACL plus injury. He's looking good. It's Detroit. I think the main takeaway here is going to be we're going to learn about Washington's offense and whether they're actually good. And we're going to see a second data point on whether it's just start everybody against Detroit every week, because that's how it was, unless you have Devontae Smith. That's how it was last week for the Eagles. But Detroit's got a pretty good offense of their own.
Yeah, they do. We'll get to Detroit in just a second, but I want to say this, Bloom.
Yeah.
The Curtis Samuel thing and the Dotson thing, it's very good for McLaurin in about week 4.
Sure.
If this continues, this is where defenses will get film on teams. They'll try to adjust. McLaurin will see better coverage. So, if it's another kind of down game and he's that wide receiver 3 flex, you know what I'm doing? Throwing out offers. I'm trying to grab Terry McLaurin, because once teams switch and they start giving Curtis Samuel better coverage and start worrying more about Jahan Dotson, and if Carson Wentz can keep this up, I know that's a big if, but yeah, McLaurin will bounce back. And the Lions, wow, we got to talk about DeAndre Swift. We got to talk about Jamal Williams. Is he my sleeper of the week? He could be. Bloom, you never know when I'm going to click that video. You never know when I'm going to do the sleeper of the week. Audible part 1, week 2, brought to you by Sleeper. So, could it be Jamal Williams? Hell yeah, it could be, because he's getting those high value touches near the goal line. So Detroit is much more exciting. Thank you, Dan Campbell, for making Detroit much more exciting to talk about.
Oh, yeah. And Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator. I guess I should lead this off by saying, I wasn't that high on DeAndre Swift. I was wrong. I was wrong about DeAndre Swift. He looks good. First round fantasy draft pick, good. Even with Jamal Williams getting 2 touchdowns that were set up by Swift's big plays.
Right.
And that, so obviously you're playing Swift. Jamal Williams, I mean, he's a what the heck flex. But again, Williams didn't create his production. Swift basically set him up for it. We're going to see, at least we'll get another data point on whether Williams is the dedicated goal line back. So we're going to watch that. Goff, certainly as a quarterback 2 in Superflex, you're happy with him. Maybe even as a streamer, you saw a lot of pass attempts by Trevor Lawrence against the Washington Commanders last week. It wasn't a great fantasy performance for Lawrence, but I think if Goff gets that many attempts, it's going to be better. And remember, this team scored 5 offensive touchdowns, and Philadelphia's defense is no slouch. Now, Philadelphia's defense had a lot of trouble with DeAndre Swift last week, but they're no slouch. I mean, they've got good players at all 3 levels of the defense now. And they had a pick 6 in that game, So actually, the Detroit offense outscored the Philly offense. Swift, there were 5 touchdowns. I'm sorry, Goff, there were 5 touchdowns scored last week. Only 2 of them were passing touchdowns for Goff, but that could change. But this is a productive offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Remember all that heated debate about Amon-Ra St. Brown in the offseason after his last 5 weeks? He's still going to get a ton of targets. He's still going to be productive. He was still a great value. I think if we're drafting today's 3rd round pick, I mean, no reason to expect that to drop off. And then you have DJ Chark as a what tech flex type because of what he can do downfield. And Chase Young for Washington, remember. And then TJ Hawkinson, who's going to be fine because this is a good offense. Again, Hawkinson won't get the target share he was getting last year, but every target's going to be worth more in this offense. And we'll see if Detroit can level things off and make it no more moral victories, actual victories on the standings. But for Washington, like Cleveland, hey, 2-0 is 2-0.
Johnny Drama says victory. And what do I say? Tampa Bay and New Orleans is up next as we preview the week. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all right, Chris Godwin going to be down. That's fine. We're learning more data points on, how they'll mix in Julio Jones. And as you said, I think it was it wasn't the recap. Was it waiver wire? We were talking about Julio Bloom and you're like, they just mixed him in. It's fine. It's actually better for him.
Yeah.
That he's not out there a zillion snaps a game. And then you got Russell Gage, not quite playoff Lenny, but if they needed him to, he's right there for you. So Tampa Bay, it's week 2 and they're already rolling, this time down to your neck of the woods, Bloom, in New Orleans.
In New Orleans, Superdome. Let me tell you, Saints fans love facing Tom Brady. Tom Brady does not like facing the Saints. CD Deuce is of Philly now. Gave us that great moment, but this is not a Tom Brady game. This is a Leonard Fournette game. I think if you're going to see anything, you're going to see Fournette. Remember, Cordero Patterson ran all over the Saints last week, a defense that is tough. 20 games they had not given up a 100-yard rusher, and then the one before that, it had been, I think it was Miles Sanders actually who broke that streak. It was a long streak before that. So you're talking about years of the Saints not giving up 100-yard rushers. And Cordero Patterson said, hold my beer, or whatever, hold my old fashioned, or whatever he likes to drink.
Hold my bong.
Water pipe. Sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe.
By the way, Bob Harris on the couch yesterday did this most seamless Sorry Joe. Sorry Joe is a thing now. It's so awesome.
Of course.
So there's going to be some, Sorry Joe moments for Tom Brady in this one. And I would understand even if maybe you don't play Tom Brady, depending on who your other option is, you're going to see a lot of Fournette. And then with Chris Godwin out, you got to go with Mike Evans, but Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans, that's always must-see TV. So it does lead you back to Julio Jones. Julio Jones is an excellent sleeper of the week. Can we say that Julio Jones is a sleeper? Because he's Julio freaking Jones. But I think he's an excellent sleeper in here because I think he's going to get the better matchup. And we'll see about Russell Gage, who is barely involved. I'm not going to go with Russell Gage. I actually think this week might be a sign of whether we even are going to keep Russell Gage, because without Chris Godwin, this should be Russell Gage's the moment. And maybe in DFS you mix him in, maybe, PPR leagues, he could still be a big play this week, because that might be one of the only things that works in this offense, at least based on the history of Tom Brady versus the Saints. It has been problems. He had his worst performance of his career. I think statistically, or if you watch the game, or if you see how he looked after the game, he had his worst performance of his career against the Saints as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. So yeah, Saints fans looking forward to this.
Looking forward to this. On the flip side with New Orleans, did they bring Latavius Murray back? Did I write that yesterday? I know it's week 2,
yes,
Bloom. Everything's running together. Yeah, practice squad. It may not take long for him to get active with the way that Saints ground game was. What is it? Ribs for Kamara. And what is it? Just age for Ingram? Like it happens to everybody. God bless Mark Ingram. Yeah. God bless Mark Ingram. He's given us so much joy, right? But didn't look real good in week 1. So Jameis, you're getting it going. You're getting it going, Jameis. You did that with Michael Thomas. You've got plenty of other assets in that passing game to go to. So what do the Saints do for their encore this time at home in week 2?
Can I tell you something? See, true story.
Sure.
True story. They're already selling 2610 t-shirts in New Orleans. They sell the 28-3 t-shirts. I've got the Zulu coconut up here with the 28-3.
Yeah.
Now you can buy a 2610 shirt. That's how much. But hey, we turn the page. It's NFC South,
It's that entrepreneurial spirit, man. Go for it.
New Orleans overflows with that.
But that's the good entrepreneurial spirit, not the bad entrepreneurial spirit, because there is both, Bloom. Yeah, 2 things can be true at the same time.
I have a saying about New Orleans. Are you allowed to do this in New Orleans? Well, if nobody told you you can't, then go ahead. And certainly when it comes to people having their car wash scene set up underneath the freeway, or selling whatever food they're cooking up on their grill, you need a license. No license. Huh? What? Health codes? Huh? What? Permission? No, just do it, baby. Just set your table up there and do it. Come on.
Love it.
I love New Orleans. So Winston's warming up. It took him a little while. I think the whole Saints offense was still in the preseason for at least the first half. Winston's warming up. Now, this is his old Tampa team. Tampa's a tough defense. We saw what they did to Dallas. And that's another recontextualization point, right? Because if New Orleans goes out and has some success against Tampa's defense, then how bad is Dallas's offense? Really? Did it even matter that Dak got hurt when we're talking about the Dallas offensive outlook? Okay. So you are going to see Michael Thomas against Carlton Davis. In that game, Michael Thomas got hurt, by the way, on a stupid Taysom Hill trick play when the game was decided. Thanks, Sean Payton. In that game, Carlton Davis was shutting down Michael Thomas. Okay. Carlton Davis is an excellent matchup for Michael Thomas. I mean, excellent in the sense that he matches up well with him. And I'm not saying to bench Michael Thomas, but don't be surprised if Carlton Davis has his number again. But then that opens things up for Jarvis Landry. I guess, God, I probably should have seen it coming. See, so I guess if we remove all of our fantasy biases and everything, and you just say, Jameis Winston's going to get to throw to Jarvis Landry, that's probably going to be good. you know. And Jarvis Landry returning back here to Southeast Louisiana, where he's from. Gotta love that. So if we see Jarvis Landry put up another good game, and we might have to grapple with the idea that he's an every week starter in PPR leagues. His numbers are basically the same as Christian Kirk, but he's not getting the hype that Christian Kirk got after week 1. We'll see about Chris Olave. Taysom Hill, it was Atlanta. Taysom Hill does that to Atlanta and only Atlanta. Actually, Juwan Johnson might be the more interesting tight end here if you're looking for a fantasy tight end to just monitor in your deep leagues. The other thing to watch here is the Saints offensive line, which was a strength for so many years, giving up sacks against the Falcons, 4 in the first 35 minutes. Again, the Falcons had 18 sacks the whole season in 2021. So we'll watch that. Tampa can get some heat for sure on the quarterback. Again, we may just come out of this one saying, hey, Tampa's defense, it wasn't just Dak going down. It wasn't just Dallas's offense isn't that good. It's that they have a good defense. So a lot of range of possibilities here, but maybe mostly this will be a day that belongs to the defenses. And again, last thing I'll bring up here is you brought up Kamara and that rib issue. Mark Ingram getting the call on the game time 2-point conversion in the Wildcat. Tear that page out of the playbook. But definitely keep the TV on this one because it will be entertaining.
Entertaining to be sure. It is the Audible, and we're going through. Thank God Saquon Barkley made this game a little bit better because Philip's hot take said, did I miss Cecil saying how much he likes Matt Rule to bounce back and take the Panthers to the playoffs? No, Philip, because I will never say that because Matt Rule sucks and he's driving Carolina into the ground. Of course, your owner isn't real great either. Now I can be like an owner snob, Bloom, because the Walton Penner Group, it is a Broncos show. Walton Penner Group bought the Broncos, so it's like, yeah, they're worth $70 billion. What's Tepper worth? Like $3 billion?
Right.
Ooh, you only got a $3 billionaire. We got a $70 billionaire.
Right. My dad beat up your dad.
Right. Why do we have billionaires? That's a different show, Bloom. That's a different show. We'll have to do that one later. But Matt Rule sucks. Carolina, I'm sorry. Until your owner stops trying to be Jerry Jones, it's disaster. I'm not trusting Robbie Anderson. And do we have to bring up every time that he changed his name? Like, fine, you change the way you spell your name. Fantastic. I don't care. I'm just not Christian McCaffrey. Love him. Can't really trust him, Bloom. Gotta kind of start him based on where you drafted him. But man alive. Like, where's the trust factor here with Carolina? It does not exist. And Philip, thank you for your comment.
Yeah. You would hope that Ben McAdoo the former Giants head coach, would go into this game thinking, here's what I have to do. It's the Randy ratio for Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey looks great. So you need to give the ball to Christian McCaffrey, throw the ball to Christian McCaffrey, fumble the ball, and let Christian McCaffrey pick it off of the ground. However you get there, fake field goals where he sneaks on the field and gets the ball in his hands somehow. Get the ball in Christian McCaffrey's hands. In fact, I would say for fantasy leagues, I would throw out an offer or two for Christian McCaffrey just to see if the Christian McCaffrey team is worried about him, because they shouldn't be worried about him. Maybe you're worried about this offense, but
right.
How hard is it to say, get the ball in the I shouldn't say that. How many years in fantasy football season we have this problem? So I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But, Baker Mayfield barely woke up. He barely heard the alarm clock in the second half. The worst thing for the Panthers fans last week was that they almost won the game, right? And then this is going to be better. It's not going to be better. Baker Mayfield had a rushing touchdown on that 75-yarder to Robbie Anderson, and otherwise did very little. Probably going to still play DJ Moore, but I won't be surprised, Cease, and we saw this a couple of years ago, if Anderson and Moore are roughly in the same tier of fantasy value. 1 week in, we certainly don't see anything that makes us think that's a crazy, outlandish thought. And there's nothing else in this passing game. Rashard Higgins or Terrace Marshall. The Terrace Marshall pick is really not working out. And we'll see if the Giants defense is okay. I mean, they held Derrick Henry in check. It's a little tougher. I think it's a much tougher thing, actually, to hold Derrick Henry in check. I'm sorry, to hold Christian McCaffrey in check, if he's used correctly, than it is to hold Derrick Henry in check. But they did hold Derrick Henry in check. They did get a win somehow last week. And again, we're talking about 2-0. Maybe it's the Giants. The Giants? 2-0?
The Giants? Huh? It's Saquon Barkley doing his best Derrick Henry impression, right? Like, just keep feeding him the rock. Yeah. And that's what makes the Giants much more exciting. And hey, Daniel Jones, Dable's going to get in your kitchen, right? Yeah. Like, hey, dude, it's on you. And that's what I love. Again, I think I ranted about this last week. It is on you. Daniel Jones, go be better. Because Saquon Barkley, he wants to get that Christian McCaffrey money, right? Like, hey, what did you get? How much? Oh, I want some of that. Well, it's on him. Stay healthy, go produce, and well, maybe not with Barkley, but hopefully someone gives him. I'm all for players getting that bag
Yeah.
because it's called not for long for a reason. There's so many guys that like you're in it and then it's gone. It's done. It happens quickly. How long have we been doing this show, Bloom? This is our 17th season.
Yeah. That's like 2 NFL careers for a good player. It's like
yeah,
5 NFL careers for a typical player.
Right. Think about all the players, our Xavier Omans and like all the players we've rotated through over the years. Like, yeah, dude, Barkley, go get that money because it's not for long.
Yeah, I think that what you hope for, honestly, is you play through the rookie contract, team gets surplus production, then 5 years if you're a rookie. I'm sorry, a first-round rookie. Then you get your second contract, get that bag, get the generational wealth, and retire. And I want to do a little word association here real quick, Caesar. Just see like first thing that pops into your head, okay?
Sure.
I don't think about it. First thing that pops into your head. Where does Barkley play next year?
Carolina. You said first thing that popped into my head.
Right, right, because they're willing to pay running backs. That's funny.
They'll get rid of McCaffrey. They'll replace him with another high-priced guy.
Right. David Tepper was the wrong running back all along. I don't know how this team is 1-0, but like you said, Brian Dable did some magic with his tough love. Saquon Barkley's back. And at this point, I think if we were drafting today, Cease, Barkley's not going to go ahead of Taylor.
Well, I think Sigmund just froze up on us. Say it in the chat room if Sigmund froze up on you too. Did he freeze? Is he gone? Did that shaky New Orleans internet? Listen, New Orleans has great things. They don't have great internet down there. So did he break up or did I break up? Am I talking into the void right now? Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. What was he going to say about Barkley? Well, where would they be drafted if they were drafting today? Would you start Saquon Barkley? Of course, you would start Saquon Barkley. We will wait for Sigmund to reconnect. And look at how he froze. Right, he froze like that. Now he's out. There you go. He froze there. He's just thinking super hard so much it broke the internet. That's what you get with a live show, right? We're talking Saquon Barkley. We're talking New York Giants. I'm going to do this, though. And no, not going to go on a Broncos rant. Sorry. Not this show. When are we doing Broncos? Oh, yeah, that's part 2. I'll rant about the Broncos. And hell yeah, I should have gone for it. But while we wait for Sigmund, we have a special feature for you every single week. So I'm just going to get to it with a couple of mine who I've already mentioned, by the way. It is now time for our special segment.
It's time for the Sleeper of the Week, powered by Sleeper.
Powered by Sleeper. Everyone go get that Sleeper app. And again, we've been down with Sleeper at Football Guys since like 10 years ago, something like a long time. So Sleeper of the Week presented by Sleeper. And I've mentioned some of mine along the way. And one of those, of course, is Isaiah Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco and that Chiefs offense, obviously you want a piece of that. And even if it's that piece where you get to the fourth quarter and that's when Pacheco gets most of his touches, I'm okay with that. That's essentially kind of what Sleeper of the Week embodies, right? You're talking about a guy that may get limited touches, but can produce and will be excited to produce when he does get those touches. So for me, I look at this and I go, you know what? I'm going to start Isaiah Pacheco and definitely look at my phone because Sigmund just texted me. He said, gonna see what's up with his internet. So anyway, it is Sleeper of the Week. It is Isaiah Pacheco. For me, that's the player to target and to throw in every single week. He keeps doing stuff like this. He'll no longer be the Sleeper of the Week. He'll just be a must start in your flex position. So for me, that's where I go with my Sleeper of the Week. And that's a Sleeper of the Week presented by our friends at Sleeper.
It's time for the Sleeper of the Week, powered by Sleeper.
The Giants side of things, let's do this. I don't think I've done a preview show by myself in a long time, but it's okay. We got it, baby. That's what we're doing. We're doing that, and we're going through what you can get in your team in your lineup, sorry, Sigmund's texting me again, rebooting the router, trying that first. There's usually a general rule of thumb. We try to do that once a week. Once a week, we'll try to get that in. So if you go to footballguys.com and you look at all of our rankings, our upgrades and downgrades and waiver wire report, also looking over our cheat sheets as well there. We look at what's going on with this Giants team. And yeah, I'm going to go back to Saquon Barkley, of course, and back to that well. And the rest of the team, I'm going to watch with great interest. I'm going to look at it and I'm going to see what they're going to do. I'm not trusting them. And for me, that's a large portion of fantasy football is about trust. And what are you going to do? Richie James makes for an interesting sleeper of the week as well. If you talk about the target structure of that game, and Kadarius Toney, we know, has the talent, but if you're not going to get that opportunity, because what was it, 7 snaps against the Titans? Like, that's not good. That's not beneficial. But Richie James becomes a player that you go, okay, is there something more there? James, and throughout his career, you talk about underneath, trustworthy type of slot guy. I think Richie James, to me, is the ever popular what the heck flex. He's that type of player where you just go, you know what? Screw it. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm going to throw it in. I'm going to see what I get. That's what you get with the Richie James there from the Giants side of things. That's a player I would consider there as well. So let's move on from that. And I think Bloom's texting me again. Yeah. Shoddy New Orleans internet. Other players, just from like a dynasty perspective, I'll watch with the Giants, Wan'Dale Robinson, that situation, watch to see what that young man can do and his explosive playmaking ability. Of course, had that knee injury, was ruled out. It's Wednesday morning. We're waiting for the injury reports to be put out there. So we'll see what happens with that in terms of where's he going to be at and what he's going to do for the rest of the season. Again, that's more dynasty perspective. But for me, Saquon Barkley, little Richie James love, and that's it. As we continue on through our games on Sunday, looks like we got 3 games left. Patriots, Steelers, Colts, Jaguars, Dolphins, Ravens. So Patriots side of things, Mac Jones is hurt. Does anyone really care or believe that? Or is Mac Jones just not really going to look that good this season? For me, I know Ty Montgomery headed to IR. Nobody was starting Ty Montgomery anyway. They had said this offseason that you're going to see more of Damian Harris, more of Ramondre Stevenson on third downs, and then you're trying to mix Ty Montgomery in. Okay, just give me more Ramondre Stevenson. I think that's a player to target and to be more excited about. And with the Patriots, there's not a whole lot to be excited about, honestly. And the Jones thing, we'll watch and see. He's got a back injury. He said he's feeling better and he hopes to play in the week 2 game. That's the story that came out on Monday. It looks like Mike Girardi, NFL Network. He worked through some back spasms. Again, was it back spasms or was it just the fact that, it's just not overall going to be that good or a fit outside of Josh McDaniel's system? Bloom's reset his router and he's got nothing. That's where I go, tether to your phone. I'm going to text him that right now. Tether to your phone. And we'll see if that works, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. Again, sorry, interrupted here. But New England side, it's Ramondre Stevenson for more receptions out of the backfield. It's Damian Harris. And then I never trusted Mac Jones. I wasn't a Mac Jones fanboy. I think there was a lot of that. I think there's a lot of exaggeration when it comes to certainly draft analysis, where people like Mac Jones is the greatest ever and Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones. None of that was ever true. None of it was true whatsoever. They targeted Trey Lance once they couldn't get Sam Darnold. And yes, I know that Pat McAfee had my tweet because somebody, I don't know who it was another NFL reporter, and verified on Twitter because, of course, the blue check mark is supposedly means everything. But yeah, they wanted Sam Darnold. They offered their first rounder. The Jets were like, let's wait to see. We want to see Zach Wilson's pro day. We want to make sure it was his shoulder back then. And so they turned him down. And obviously those teams have a great relationship because hell, half of or almost all of the Jets staff comes from San Francisco. So they turn that down. Then San Francisco was like, okay, screw you guys. I'm going home. No, let's move up for Trey Lance. So it was always Trey Lance, and it was never Mac Jones. So I think there was a little bit of that hype. Okay. He says he can't tether it to his phone. Okay. Outage, 2:47 p.m. And there you go. Limited data on his phone. Sig, get that fixed, baby. Anyway, I'm ranting about what Mac Jones. Yeah, Mac Jones. I don't think Mac Jones is that good. Sorry. I know everyone blows bubbles at him. It's like he's the greatest, and Belichick's going to make it work. Like, nah, I don't think so. That's not my opinion on Mac Jones. Never has been. Good enough guy, system specific guy, but that system was two places. One, it was with New Orleans, and two, it was with Josh McDaniels in New England. So maybe he proves me wrong, and I'm fine with that. Prove me wrong. That's great. Is anyone trusting Nelson Aguilar? Anyone trusting Jonnu Smith? Kendrick Bourne. Why do we talk about this? Why do we got to talk about doing New England Patriots? Oh, it's because I avoid talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, what's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers is very interesting because you have Najee Harris saying he's playing. He aggravated his Liz Frank injury against the Bengals. And listen, if it wasn't for that Steelers defense, unfortunately, the news with TJ Watt has been better on his pec, not requiring surgery on his torn pec, expected to miss only 6 weeks, according to a source that came out yesterday from Adam Schefter. So defensively, and they've got Malik Reed. They made that move with Denver. Looks like Sigmund's back. Are you back, Sigmund?
I think I am.
How did you come back so quick?
I don't know. I mean, on one hand,
you were texting me like, "There's no way I can be back. There's an
Yeah.
outage," and then you were back.
And they're back. So let's get this done. I would think I was just saying that I don't know what you said while I was gone.
Oh, I'm already on to Pittsburgh. I'm on the Pittsburgh side. I already did the Giants. Nothing more to say there.
There's
I already
nothing
did the
else to see there.
Patriots. I ranted about Mac Jones. And then the Steelers, I was just about to say, Najee Harris has a bad foot. Mitchell Trubisky sucks. Thank God they have that great defense, and Malik Reed will do his Malik Reed impression. But it's obviously not as good as TJ Watt. But for me, again, fantasy football comes down to trust. Who are you? I can't trust Mitchell Trubisky. I can't trust a banged up Najee Harris. They look so lethargic and uninspired. Now, if you were to tell me, Bloom, like Najee is worse than we thought, then I would say yes. Okay, that makes sense. Like, why would I go back to the well with that? Now, Najee's out there, much like Christian McCaffrey, and where you drafted him, you're going to have to start him. But because of that, is that the only reason you're starting him? Is that the only way you're going to get that done? Is that? I think we lost Bloom again. We did lose Bloom again. Oh, right. Okay. I'll just call him, and we'll do this live on the show. Look at this Audible live thing there. And I will call Sigmund right here on the show. Make sure he doesn't cuss. Let's see. See if he picks up. There you go. Can you hear that? I'm going to tell him not to cuss like as soon as he answers. Don't cuss. Don't cuss. Don't cuss. You're on the air. Don't cuss. Oh, there's his phone. There's his phone. Hey, I'm calling you on the air right now, Bloom.
I know. And I don't know if I'm going to drop out again. I just want to say that I hope that the Steelers can get some revenge against Belichick, even though it doesn't count.
All right. And I can finish out. We got 2 games left. So Steelers wise, I'm like,
yeah, well, Najee Harris.
Are you trusting anybody?
Pat Freiermuth. I mean, that seems to be Trubisky's guy. But otherwise, we're on Kenny Pickett watch. So hey, folks, we're always changing it up, keeping it interesting for everybody. New Orleans
where do I put this in the timestamp? Sig dropped out at 25:30.
It's a real human drama. New Orleans isn't the least organized city in the United States.
All right. Yeah. There you go. Sigmund dropped again. That's fine. It's fine. I'm going to text him. I'm going to call him. I'm going to tell him.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
You're here?
No, I'm here. I think
you're freezing up, baby. You're freezing up.
Let's see if we can get through these last 2 games. We got to get to the goal line,
Okay. Colts side. Colts, Jaguars. Go. Colts.
Yeah. Ryan should be even better. Of course, you're not going to see Jonathan Taylor getting 31 carries. That's not going to work. So I think we may see more Nyheim Hines in this one. We know Michael Pittman's the man, but otherwise, Alec Pierce had some drops. We're going to watch the Allie Cox Granson split. I don't think we're going to get a good tight end as long as there is. that split. And look, if you're Indianapolis and you lose to Jacksonville and you tie with Houston, yes, on the road, how can you really consider yourself division favorites? So I think this is actually a kind of a gut check game for them, even though it's only week 2.
And then what does Jacksonville do on the flip side to maybe make their own statement within the division where nobody won in week 1?
Right. This is not NFC South. It's baby steps for Lawrence, making some progress. We know that he's going to target. Yeah, he looked better. Baby steps. Christian Kirk is still going to be a solid play. Zay Jones may help you out in a pinch. Marvin Jones got free deep, but it didn't quite come together. So there's value here because this is going to be a pass-heavy offense. Travis Etienne, we can go one of two directions here. We can say glass half full. He should have had 2 touchdowns. One's on him, one's on Lawrence. And he was explosive on his touches. Glass half empty. James Robinson's fine. Achilles. What Achilles? He's the passing down back. He's the goal line back. Maybe he gets more involved. He's certainly the back that is going to be more the coach's favorite. We love explosive plays. Coaches like assignment sound football and grittiness and all that good stuff that James Robinson has. So we're going to watch this split. But I think, again, as of right now, the ADPs didn't represent it. If I had to start one of Robinson and ETN this week, it's Robinson, right? Are we even asking that question? But the ADPs made it seem like that was absurd. So I think that's what we're going to watch. Evan Ingram, too. Again, a pass-heavy team. He's got some talent. Thanks for your patience, folks.
Yeah. The ADP thing, I don't know if it's that or the New Orleans internet that's drawing my ire today, Bloom. Because the ADP thing, it's like,
well, we stay attached to it.
Can a guy play or can he not play? Like, are we seriously, and I know it's only week 2, but are we seriously stuck on ADP? Like, I'm starting him just because I drafted him. Like, huh? You're not winning that way. Seriously?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Miami and Baltimore. Hopefully make it through. Miami side is very interesting. I love Mike McDaniel. Certainly the running back mix that they have, and Chase Edmonds, what he's going to do as a receiver there, and Tyreek and Jalen. Okay, Tyreek and Jalen, take the top off and work underneath and use that speed. Miami themselves can make a statement against Baltimore in week 2.
Yeah, they want to go to 2-0. And I think that what we're going to watch here is, remember, they had a defensive touchdown. So it wasn't exactly a smashing success for the debut of this offense, but they did have that 4th and 7 call. The game really turned on that 4th and 7 call. And you had a lot of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's going to be fine. He's going to get a lot more short receptions, but you're going to get him involved. Tua Tagovailoa still is limited, but you can see Mike McDaniel can do some things to set him up for success. Waddle is more of a boom bust play. And then we see some more success from Chase Edmonds. We know he's the lead back. We know he's going to lead this backfield in touches, and certainly he's a flex play or a running back 2 with maybe a lower ceiling, because Raheem Mostert did get the 1 goal line carry last week. So again, week 2, we're checking on roles. Teams are trying things. Teams are seeing how it's going. This is a moving target. This is not static. So we're going to watch Mostert. We're going to watch Edmonds. This might be an offense that Hill is the only guy we can count on here. And of course, we're going to watch the next chapter in the Mike. No. I'm still here.
There? You're still
I'm
there?
still here, baby.
All right.
No.
All right. Yeah.
Just like Bob Harris told us on the couch yesterday.
Can we get Sleeper to sponsor internet
for Sigmund Bloom?
Yes, please. We love Sleeper. Have I said Sleeper enough today? Sleeper.
Yeah.
We do love Sleeper. And again, Bloom, when we're jumping on with Sleeper, I'm like, we've been down with Sleeper for a decade. You kidding me?
Yeah.
So Sleeper's our guys. But Sleeper, get Sigmund some better internet in New Orleans, please.
T-Mobile hotspot or something. If anyone's on there in New Orleans, get that. There's some sort of mobile hook. There's some mobile hotspots and things like that. Maybe that's for the good of the audible, for the good of the people. But Baltimore won 22-10 Baltimore lost 22-10 to Miami last year. So this is a tough matchup for Baltimore. This is a tough matchup for Lamar Jackson. And even though Brian Flores is with Pittsburgh now, again, sweep the leg. This is not going to be a cakewalk game for the Ravens. And again, in the first half, the Jets defense was holding them in check. So this is like the Miami-New England game last week, like most of the Baltimore Jets game. Not a lot of offense, I think, in this one. But we will see if maybe J.K. Dobbins can get back on the field.
Brandon says this wouldn't happen in the Blog Talk Radio days.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this would be like old men be like, back in my day, if we finished a show without the show dropping, we thought that was a good day.
Yeah. Oh, and there were days when Zencaster. Remember when we were using Zencaster?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have, because I've saved a collection of our audio, Bloom.
Okay.
And when we're like complaining about Zencaster, like Zencaster, you some bitch. Sorry, Joe.
Right.
And YouTube, I guess I can't say some
All of
bitch.
it.
Right, whatever.
Yeah.
Are we not adults? So pathetic. Anyway, are we good? We good.
We good. We got to talk. We got to talk the Ravens because the Steelers can move into first.
Oh, I thought you
place.
did talk the Ravens before you drop out again.
Right. Look, Lamar Jackson it's a passing game. I mean, it looks like it's a Lamar Jackson pass offense again. But Miami, I mean, look, Ronnie Stanley. We'll see if he's back. That's important. They're going to get pressure, and I know they don't have Brian Flores is going to say, cover zero blitz and make them do something. But still, I think this is going to be an aggressive defense. Again, they got that fumble. Recovery touchdown. Melvin Ingram carrying that one in. I think it was Brandon Jones, the safety, coming in there on the blitz. So again, the blitz can come from anywhere. Even if Dobbins is back, I think this could be a futile running game. The running game is not on track, not even close to on track. So it's not the run setting up the pass anymore. It's just Lamar, save us. You're our only hope. And to who? Duvernay had those 2 touchdowns. He had a small role. So this is the tension, right? Duvernay had 2 touchdowns on limited opportunities. One of them was the lowest separation in the StatCast era. And does that mean he gets more opportunity, though? Does he even become maybe like the X receiver for this team? Because he's got the speed to do it. He's got the toughness. Rashad Bateman, if there wasn't a busted coverage, he would have been a total bust last week. Mark Andrews is solid, but he's not the same fantasy force he was when the backup quarterbacks were in. So we're going to watch this stuff. I think it's still very much in motion. Isaiah Likely, take 2. We dropped him, but still a player that can figure into this offense, complicate things a little bit. This is not a good matchup for Baltimore. This is a matchup where they just have to rely on Lamar Jackson to pull a rabbit out of the hat, but he can do that.
That's the way it goes. Oh, you're back. Hey, you're back.
I never left.
Oh, it keeps freezing up. Anyway, let's wrap this thing up. Tie a bow on it.
Yeah.
Get the internet fixed in New Orleans, and we shall return tomorrow for part 2 of the week 2 preview here on the Audible. He's Sigmund Bloom. You follow him on. Does Twitter still work in New Orleans?
Remember, Cease, how we got demonetized is because I kept talking about that company that has a name that sounds like something that makes you say sorry, Joe. So this is the revenge.
Don't. Yes. It's like we got you now, and we've got you here as well on the Audible. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. The podcast listeners are going to be like, what the hell happens on YouTube? Like, yeah, don't miss it. And do all those YouTube things, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. And all of this fun and goodness brought to you by Sleeper. He's Sigmund. I'm Cecil. We are the Audible. Everyone, thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay frosty.